ونظمه because إن شاء الله
Hey guys, welcome to today's session. Hope that you guys are doing well and you enjoyed your break. Today we're going to first start off with our daily language practice. So I'm going to share screen with you. Our daily language practice for today, February 9th. It's going to focus on spelling words correctly. You're going to identify a simile from 3 choices. You can have more than one choice, okay? So look wisely. And then finally, we're going to decipher the meaning of the sentence. If you want a cow for a pet, you can expect to pay through the nose. Okay, so what would this sentence mean? Okay, so let's start here. Now that I have more participants, I'm going to start with taking attendance for the session. Okay, so please work on your DLP until I get my attendance ready. Okay, Ali Hisham.
Yes.
Thank you, Ali. Okay, Adam.
Yes.
Okay. This is our 4th session. Okay, so Ali's here, Adam is here. Ahmad Rashwan?
Here.
Perfect. Hassan? Hassan is not here. Mu'min? Mu'min is not here. Noor Mahdi? Noor Mahdi is not here. Usama Al-Gizi? Usama is not here. Aisel? Yusuf Al-Ghandour? Yusuf is not here. Fadia? Fadia isn't here. Farah?
Here.
Okay. Fatima isn't here. Habiba?
Here.
Okay. Hala?
Here.
Thank you. Hannah Magdi?
Here.
Hannah Hamdi?
Here.
Hannah Durgham?
Here.
Hannah Wael? الحلو?
Here.
Jana?
Here.
Judy?
Here.
Kinsey?
Here.
Khadija?
Here.
Lujain Ayman?
I'm here.
Lujain Nauman? Lujain Nauman is not here. Is Malak Islam? Malak is not here. Noor, Nano's here. And Reem?
Here. Here.
Reem. Okay, so those that are not here again: Hassan, Mu'min, Noor Mahdi, Usama, Aisel, Yusuf Al-Ghandour, Fadia, Fatima, Lujain Nauman, sorry, and Malak. Okay, this is for the 4th session. So let's start with our DLP. Number 1, let's correct these misspelled words. Nano, the first word is the word elegant. So can you please spell that correctly for me?
Elegant. ELEGANT.
Perfect. Thank you, Nano. Fluent. Okay. Thank you, Nano. Let's go with Reem. Is there a problem with fluent, Reem?
No.
No. Good job. So it stays the same. Fluent stays the same. What about vacant? Let's go with the Jain Ayman. Vacant. Is there an error, a spelling mistake with vacant, or is it correctly spelled, Luji?
It's correct.
Is correct. Okay, it is correct. It is correctly spelled. So vacant is correctly spelled. All right, we're gonna move on to the next one. Pheasant. Okay, Hannah Hamdi, please.
Oh, what is phasing?
It's a type of bird.
Oh, okay. I think it's spelled correctly.
No, there's one mistake. There is a mistake with one letter.
Miss, can you read for
Can you
Jamie?
get? Yes. So Hannah,
The E in
yes, good girl. It should be
A.
good girl. All right, good. Thank you, Hannah. Elephant. Let's go with Kinsey. Elephant.
Is wrong will be ELEPHANT.
Thank you. Okay, and apparent. Apparent. Judy. Apparent.
It's misspelled. It should be
Okay, please spell it correctly.
APPARENT.
Apparent. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you guys for spelling the words correctly. Okay, now which one is a simile from the following? Hannah Durghem, which one would you say?
A.
Okay, A is a simile. Okay, and is that only A, Hannah, or do you see any other?
B.
A and B. Okay, great. A and B. Can you please show me or tell me how do you think, what are the two things being compared in simile number 1 in letter A? She chatters like a cage of full monkeys. Where's my simile here?
Like,
Okay, what are the two things being compared?
she chatters and the
The way
cave.
that she chatter, good, to a cage full of monkeys. All right, and the next one, what is the two things being compared to, Hannah?
Room
The room is being
cluttered
compared to. Remember, cluttered is an adjective, right? That it's messy. Okay, what is it compared to?
at the bottom of the bird cage.
It's compared to the bottom of a bird cage. Okay, showing that it is as messy and cluttered. Remember when we took when the cleaning story? Cluttered means that it's messy. Okay, it has a lot of things that do not need to be there. Okay, next one. If you want a cow for a pet, you can expect to pay through the nose. Okay, to pay through the nose, you can expect to pay through the nose. Can someone tell me what does this sentence mean? Maya?
If you want to buy a Macau, you have to like pay an excessive amount of money.
Good job. You have to pay an excessive amount of money. Good. Okay, so it means when you pay through the nose, it means that you're paying a higher price, more than what is fair. Okay, so you're being overcharged, and you're going to pay a fortunate, okay, or lots of money. Okay, great job. All right, and then today, the first thing that we're going to do now is we're going to continue the miracle worker. Okay, yesterday we read a few pages before we were able to get into our that your employment ads are due, okay, on February 14, okay, which is going to be next Sunday. Okay, so make sure that you guys submit them on the due date. Okay, now let's look here and miracle worker. Yes.
Can I submit them like earlier?
Yes, of course. Early submission is always welcomed. Okay, just
and
make sure
when-
that you.
And where should I send it?
I gave you guys time to do it. So what I'm gonna do is I never posted it as an assignment. Remember, I only put it in our folder. I never created an assignment because I didn't want to, hold you accountable for due dates yet. but I will post it as an assignment, and I'm going to make the due date for the 14th. So you can send it to me via SMS on assignments, okay? As soon as I post it as an assignment, you'll see it, and you'll be able to respond to it with your work, okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to
Yes,
put it,
thank
and I'm going to close the date for February 14th, which is the due date for it. And this is going to be
Okay.
your assignment for Act 1, the writing assignment for Act 1. Okay, so here we stopped at the part where last time we saw Annie and Helen in their encounter in the room. Can someone tell me what kind of encounter was it? Was it a positive one? What are the positives that happened, and what are the negatives that happened? And we know that Helen is trying to teach Annie. Annie is trying to teach Helen language. Okay, and we see that happening, and she's taking the first steps to teach her sign language by writing in the palm of her hand the spelling of words or the spelling of certain items that she's encountering, that Helen is encountering, such as the doll and the cake. Okay, and what are some positive aspects in this meeting that happened in in Annie's room, and what are some negatives? So start with the positives. Hannah Durghem, can you please tell me what are some positive things that we saw take place between Katie, Helen, and Annie?
Okay, that Helen is repeating after Annie. That she's
Good.
a fast learning
Mhm.
Annie.
Good. So we see that Annie is teaching her, and that we see that that Helen is actually responsive. Okay, she's able to copy or to follow the way or the method of writing these letters. Okay, and first we see them that she's tracing them. She's tracing these letters, or she's following those movements. Okay, those finger movements, and she's doing it in the air. So whenever she does a certain movement in her hand of the letter D or the O and the L and the L, she's able to memorize it into the air. Okay, so she's able to she's responsive, and like you said, she's a quick and fast learner. Okay, and this is a good sign for Annie, because she was hesitant and she was afraid of what kind of learner is Helen going to be. Okay, and she actually says, and she describes her as what? What does she describe her as? She says she is how bright she is, right? Exactly. So she says that she is a bright student. Good. What are some negatives? Okay, so this is the positive aspect of a meeting. What are some negative things that we're seeing that happened? Okay, Nano, can you please show us what are some negatives?
She swung the doll into Annie's face.
Exactly. So one of the things is that whenever Annie tries to take away an object from Helen, okay, Helen loses control. Helen becomes very furious and angry, and she starts to throw tantrums. And we see the first time she smacks Annie in the face. Okay, and Annie tries to pin her down into a chair. We see Helen is constantly kicking and fighting to let go. And she's also fighting to do what? To get the object that she wants back, which is the doll. Okay. And we see how is Helen responding? How is Annie responding to Helen's tantrums? Is she submitting into her demands or not? Who can tell me? Hannah Hamdi, can you please tell us whether Annie is submitting into Helen's needs and wants, or is she taking a stand?
She is taking a stand. She doesn't want her to be any like before she came. Yani they didn't discipline her at all, and she wants her to learn that this is bad, yani, and this is good. Yani she wants her to know the difference.
Exactly. Okay, so she's able to tell that Helen, it does not get any discipline. Good job, Hannah, which is true. And we already know that Helen has a problem with discipline. And we see that Annie, on the other hand, is trying to discipline her, and she is putting her foot down. Okay, she basically says that you're not, she refuses to give Helen the object that she wants unless she writes it out or spells it out into her hand. And this is the only way how she's going to get what she wants. Okay, and she does the same thing with the cake. Okay, she puts the cake under her nose so that she can smell it. Remember, she is depending on her senses since she cannot see or speak or hear. So she's depending on the sense of touch and the sense of smell to observe objects and to get acquainted with them and to know what they are. All right. What does she do? She takes, we see that Annie takes every single chance as a learning opportunity. When Helen pulls out the cake from her bag, from Annie's bag, what does she do? She takes the cake away from her. She makes her smell it. And then she takes her hand right away and she starts to write the word C-A-K-E, spelling the word cake into her hand so that she is going to eventually learn how to tie object names with objects. This is the idea of language, that everything has a name. Okay. Is Annie in a rush for Helen to know that these objects have names, or what is she focusing on teaching her first? Judy, what do you think? Is Annie rushing Helen, or is she taking it one step at a time, gradually?
No, she's taking it one step at a time. She's
Good. Mm-hmm.
she wants her to be able to understand to
Repeat.
yes. Yes.
Exactly. All right. She says, repeat now, learn later. Okay. Imitate my actions now. Show me that you can imitate me, that you can memorize and repeat what I am teaching you. And then later we can worry about tying these gestures into words and items and objects and feelings and so on. All right. Who comes in intruding Annie's room? Okay, who comes in intruding and stands in the doorway and watches? Who comes and intrudes? Haba Ali, can you please tell us who does this?
James?
Good. Okay, James does so. All right, and first of all, we see that he's always, does he accept Annie's teaching methods, or does he mock them? What do you think? James, is he accepting? Is he understanding Annie's teaching techniques and methods, or is he mocking them? Mocking means, making fun of them, criticizing them. What is he saying? Yusuf, can you please explain?
Yes, he is mocking the way Annie teaches Helen.
Good. What does he say? Tell her in the beginning. When he sees her holding her hand, writing into her palm, what does he say? What does he think that Annie's doing?
He thinks that it is useless, or
He tells her something. He tells her something that if he thinks that she's what? Maya.
He tells her if you think that she's ticklish, yes, she is.
Exactly. All right. He doesn't understand what she's doing. He thinks that she's holding the palm of her hand because she's tickling her, or she's trying to figure out if Annie, what Annie is here to do. Okay, she's not coming to figure out if Helen is ticklish from the palm, from the palm of her hands, obviously. So we could see that James, his remarks are always either very cynical, they don't make any, or they are useless, or comments that shouldn't be made. Okay, and he keeps, again, is he motivating Annie? When Helen is able to trace back the letters that Annie made into the palm of her hand, we see that Annie is excited, she's full of energy, she's happy, she's optimistic. But what does James say on the other hand? How does he encourage or does he put her down, her efforts down? Hannah, what does he say? Hannah Hamdi.
He always puts her down, and he tells her. I think he makes fun of the way that she's trying to teach her Yani, and then Annie has enough of it Yani. She's fed up with it.
So he tells her that is Helen copying because she understands what she's doing, or she's copying because she's just a monkey copying things without understanding them? What does he say? Judy.
She copies things. She's like a monkey.
Exactly. But is she copying? Okay, there's a difference between when you copy, it's like when you copy your homework. Okay, when you copy something
Oh.
that you understand versus when you're copying and you don't
No,
get
she
what you're
doesn't
copying.
understand.
Okay,
She
this is what
doesn't
he's saying.
understand.
Okay, he's basically saying, and he's basically telling Annie, you know, you're happy because she's copying your movements of the D, O, and the LL. But does she understand what she's doing? Of course, you know, he's telling her basically that this is pointless. She's copying, but she doesn't understand what she's copying. Okay, so this is what he's trying to tell her, that basically whatever she's doing is pointless because Helen doesn't understand it, and she's only just a monkey copying what's being shown to her, okay, or placed into the palm of her hand. Okay, and again here we see that Annie gets fed up. What does she do when she gets fed up with him? Okay, what does she do when she gets fed up with him? Fadia, can you tell us what does she do when she gets fed up with him? Okay, Adam, please.
He slapped the door on him.
She shuts the door in his face. Good. She shuts the door in his face and she tells him that she wishes that he would remain silent. Okay. So we see here James is, from James's action, do you think that he's interested to know what Annie Salvine is doing, or is he not interested? Not interested. What do you think? What do you think, Ahmed Rashwan? From his behavior, is James interested in what Annie's doing, or is he not interested?
Not interested.
Not interested. Why would you say that he's not interested? If I'm not interested, then why would I stand in the doorway and watch Annie for a long time?
Not interested.
Yeah, right. So he might make it seem like he's not interested, or he might make it seem like whatever she's doing is basically pointless. But we can tell, really, really, from the inside, we see that James is interested, because you know he wouldn't have come to Annie's room and stood there and watched if and you know he's also curious to see what Annie's going to do with Helen. Okay, remember his perspective in the beginning of the play of Act 1. What does he believe should be done with Helen? What does he believe should be done with Helen? In the beginning of the play, what does he say? Habiba, what does he say should be done with Helen in the beginning of the play? Habiba, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, can you please tell me what is James's perspective of what should be done with Helen in the beginning of the play?
بس I don't remember يعني exactly.
Does anyone remember?
Miss, can I answer?
Yes, go ahead.
He wanted them to discipline her because she always gets away with things because they let her, yani, her family, her father and mother.
Okay, so what else does he? Where does he see her belong?
Miss, can I
Hannah.
see?
Mm-hmm.
Miss me.
Okay, go ahead.
He thinks that she should go to this little thing, the hospital thing.
Right. What is it called? Maya?
The insane asylum.
The insane asylum. Good job. Okay. This is where he feels that Helen belongs. So now that she's actually trying to now that they're actually putting into an effort to teach her, he's curious to see what Annie's going to accomplish. Okay, so she never finishes. Helen swings the doll with furious energy, so she's angry. Okay, and she does what? She swings the doll right. Annie falls back, okay, with a cry of pain. Her knuckles up to her mouth. Helen waits, tensed for further combat. Okay, combat, like it's making it seem like we're at war. Okay, when Annie lowers her knuckles, she looks at blood on them. So Annie's knuckles are bleeding. She works her lips, gets to her feet, finds the mirror. and bares her teeth at herself. Now she's furious herself. Okay, so now we see that this is the second time that Helen gets physically violent and just physically abusive with Annie, and Annie is losing her patience. Okay, and let's hear Annie. So let's give Annie the role. Annie, as a reader, is going to be Hala. Okay, Hala Tariq, you're going to be Annie. Okay, and James is going to be Yusuf. Okay, Yusuf, you're going to be James. Okay, and here for the boy's voice. Okay, the boy's voice is going to be Noor Mahdi. I understand that you're here, Noor. So you're going to be the boy's voice.
Who's gonna be the narrator? Okay.
Okay, Hannah. First Crone's voice is going to be Adam. And the second Crone's voice is going to be Ahmed Rashwan. Okay? And we already assigned Annie. It's going to be Hala.
Okay.
Okay? Kate is going to be Kinsey. Okay? And Mr. Keller is going to be Ali.
And it's gonna be Keller instead of the second boy.
Ali is going to be Keller for this reading, and Vinny is going to be we need a Vinny, and Vinny is going to be Khadija. Okay, so let's start now. Go ahead, Katie. You little wretch. Hala, are you there?
Sorry. You little wretch, no one's taught you any manners. I will.
But rounding from the mirror, she sees the door slam. Helen and the doll are on the outside, and Helen is turning the key in the lock. Annie darts over to pull the knob. The door is locked fast. She yanks it again.
Okay, so what did she do? What did Helen just do? What did Helen just do? Nano, please.
Oh, she's. I thought it was on me. She was yanking at the door.
Not because she's yanking at the door. What did Helen do? Helen is not in the room anymore. She's outside the room. Who's in the room? And who's outside the room?
She closed the door and Annie, and she can't get out.
Exactly. All right. Not only that she closed the door, but she actually locked the door. We know that Helen is able to use keys because we know that she was able to unlock Annie's luggage or suitcase when Annie provided her with the key. So we know that Helen is able to actually work with keys. So Helen has a key. She has the key. So we see that now Annie is inside her bedroom and Helen has the doll. She's standing outside and she actually locks Annie in. Okay, so Annie now is locked in the room and Helen and the doll are outside. So go ahead, Helen.
Helen, let me out of.
She bats her brow at the folly of speaking, but James, now downstairs, hears her.
Why does she bat her brow at the folly of speaking? Why? Is speaking, what's the point of it? Judy.
What's bats her brow?
Does she think that this is normal? When she tells her, Helen, let me out, is there a purpose for this, to say this?
Yes, because Helen can't understand nor hear her, so
cannot hear her. Helen is deaf, right? So this is why Annie is batting her eyebrows at the, she's doing something silly. What is the point of speaking when she tells her, Helen, let me out? Helen is not going to hear her because Helen is deaf. So again, this is why she is in her mind. She's basically. She thinks she's foolish for saying these words. Continue, Hannah Hamdi. James hears what happens.
Hears her and turns to see Helen with the key and doll groping her way down the steps. James takes in the whole situation, makes a move to intercept Helen, but then changes his mind. Let her pass and amusedly follows her onto the porch. Upstairs, Annie meanwhile rattles the knob, kneels, peers through the keyhole, gets up. She goes to the window, looks down, frowns. James, uh, James from the yard sings gaily up to her.
Good. So now James, does he understand the situation? Does he understand what's happening? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Does he decide to
Yes.
take action? Does he decide to take a step to help Annie out of the room? Or does he
He decides to just like skip the room and just go down and pretend that nothing is happening. Yeah.
he's getting an entertainment out of the situation. He's amusedly following Helen around. Okay, he knows that she's holding the key and that she has a doll in her hand, and he knows that Annie is locked upstairs. And yet he had, he made the decision not to do anything about it, not to take any type of action. He's getting a kick out of the situation. He's amusing himself for entertainment. And he sees Katie in the window and he looks up and he sings at her. Okay, so we can see here that he's also being annoying. Okay, he's showing her that he is there and he knows what's going on and he's getting a kick out of this. Okay, James, continue.
Buffalo girl, are you coming out tonight? Coming out tonight? Coming out?
He drifts back into the house. Annie takes a handkerchief, nurses
Okay, which is a
her
napkin.
nurses her mouth, stands in the middle of the room, staring at the door and window in turn, and so catches sight of herself in the mirror. Her cheeks scratched, her hair disheveled.
Disheveled.
Sorry, disheveled.
Disheveled.
Her
handkerchief.
Her handkerchief bloody, her face disgusted with herself. She addresses the mirror with some irony.
Good. All right. So here we know that James, again, the I need you to understand James is what kind of person he is in the household. Okay. We see that he's very useless and very annoying. Okay. And he is getting on Annie's nerves. Okay. He knows that she's stuck upstairs, yet he's not doing anything about it by looking at her and singing, "Are you coming out tonight? Are you coming out tonight?" Because he knows that she's locked in. Okay, they give you a little physical description of Annie, and we know that she's hurt. Her knuckles are bleeding. We can tell that her mouth is also hurt because she nurses her mouth. Nurses means she's trying to, make it feel better, heal it a little. And her hair is messed up. She has scratches on her cheek. So, is this a good situation? Is this what Helen signed up for? Or do you think that she could possibly regret being there? What do you think, Judy?
She is gonna regret being there in the house, but and she's doing that for like helping others.
Right. So, but if you compare what's happening to her in the Keller's household compared to the way that she was treated in the Perkins Institute for the Blind,
for the Perkins
definitely. Right, they weren't at least aggressive and violent like Helen. Okay, so we see that Annie could be somewhat not motivated to be in this place. She could be actually, if you were Annie at this place, you could have some second thoughts about taking this opportunity because again she sees and she's disgusted with herself. She's unhappy with how she looks, and let's see what Annie says.
Don't worry, they'll find you. You're not lost, only out of place.
But she coughs, spits something into her palm, and stares at it, outraged.
And toothless.
So what does she spit out?
Her tooth.
A tooth. So when Helen smacks her with this heavy doll, she actually ends up causing one of Annie's teeth to fall out, and she spits it out, and she coughs it out, and she spits it out, and it's actually a tooth. a tooth in one of her teeth are in the palm of her hand. What does she say? She winces. Winces means in pain. Okay, she's moving in pain. What does she say? Annie, continue. Hala. Oh,
Oh, it hurts.
She pours some water into the basin, dips the handkerchief, and presses it to her mouth, standing there bent over the basin in pain, with the rest of the set dim and unreal, and the lights upon her taking on the subtle color of
subtle.
the past.
Be silent. Subtle.
Subtle color of the past. She hears again, as do we, the faraway voices, and slowly she lifts her head to them. The boy's voice is the same. The others are cracked, old crones in a nightmare, and perhaps we see their shadows.
Okay. So we're gonna pause here. Okay. And again, let's be reminded. What are some of the things that Annie keeps hearing? What are some of the things that Annie, again, when she keeps hearing these voices, can someone tell me what is she hearing? Any volunteers that could answer this question? Okay, let's see. How about Reem? Haven't heard from you today. Go ahead, Reem. Tell me what are some of the things that Annie, when she hears these voices, what are they?
Hear faraway voice, which is her brother.
Exactly. Okay, so whenever she hears this boy's voice, okay, this is actually the voice of who? The voice of
Her dead brother.
exactly. All right. And when we go back, we're going to return. When we return, we're going to read some of the first crone. The first crone is a voice that is showing Annie's memory of Twexbury. And what did we say Twexbury was? These are names and that you need to remember. What is Twexbury? We said it was what was it? What is Twexbury? Maya?
The institution or the orphanage she was Annie in.
Good job. Good job. Okay. It was the orphanage or the place for for people in destitution or poverty, where she stayed with her brother. So the first crone voice is an offstage voice. Okay, it's a voice of someone who's not on stage. Okay, so it's a voice, only you hear the voice, no body. There's no one on stage, but just a voice. It's an offstage voice that shows what Annie's recollections, or when she remembers her days from the Twexbury poverty home. Okay, and here we see that it's going to it's a man's offstage, and it's a staff member. Okay, it's a staff member. That means it's someone who works at Twexbury's almshouse, a staff member. And we see here that we're gonna see that he speaks. Okay. All right, so we're gonna see what this crone is going to say. So again, whenever you see this, the boy's voice is James. Okay, the first crone's voice this is Annie's recollection of her days in Twexbury, and this is a staff member or a person that worked at Twexbury speaking. Okay, so here James is saying it hurts, Annie, it hurts. Okay, so this is again her guilt speaking. Or remember, we know that James was a crippled and he was a sick child. She had promised to take care of him, but they had to separate them upon their arrival. Women and girls were, girls had to stay in a place and boys had to stay in a place. And he begged her not to leave him, but she had to. Keep that brat shut up, can't you,
And if
girlie?
it's me,
How's the body to get any sleep in this damn ward? Okay, so yes, Yusuf?
Ali can't enter because يعني his electricity is off.
Okay, when we join
And
back
he
up again,
Mr.
we're
Keller.
going to. Okay,
He's
when
Mr. Keller.
when we come back at Ashwan, you're gonna be Mr. Keller, please. When we return, thank you. And the boy's voice again, and we're gonna pick up here. We're gonna read Then we'll have 2 more pages to finish Act 2, and we can finish them on Thursday, inshallah. Because tomorrow is novel. Yes.
You didn't post the study guide for pages.
This is today's homework.
There was another homework for like